Jeffrey Kramer caught a major wave very early on in his acting career when Spielberg cast him as Deputy Hendricks in Jaws, thus marked the beginnings of an exceptional resume that includes a multitude of memorable performances and an incredible contribution as one of television's most successful producers. In 1999, he won the Television Producer of the Year award from the Producers Guild of America for his work on The Practice, a show that also garnered him 2 Emmys, one of which he accepted the same year he won the Outstanding Comedy Series Emmy for Ally McBeal. Still, in the face of all of these tremendous accomplishments, Jaws still carries a very special and sacred place in his heart. Tell me a little bit about your journey prior to Jaws, and how Jaws came into your life, how the opportunity came about.
Well, it was very interesting. I, in part, grew up, and my mother was born on Martha's Vineyard. And my family were the first Jews on Martha's Vineyard. And I had read somewhere I guess it was the local paper or somewhere, they were going to do a movie. And I called my agent in New York, and a guy named J. Michael Bloom, and he arranged for me to have an interview. And I flew to Boston. I walked in, and I met Stephen in a hotel room. And we had a nice conversation, and I left that room, and I turned to a guy who had also flown down to audition. I said, I don't know why, I just feel like I'm going to get this. And about 10 days later, I think I was in Virginia doing a television commercial or something, and sure enough, I got the call, and it was just terrific.
Wow. What was your first impression of Spielberg when you met him in that hotel room?
I thought he was a really normal, decent, down-to-earth guy. I mean, we just clicked. He was just focused, and he was assessing my personality and all of that. And it was just, I don't know. Sometimes in life you say, what is it? Is it being in the right place at the right time? Is it fate? Is it luck? Is it Joss? Is it... What is it? Karma? I don't know. But it was blessed. It was just a lovely experience. Richard Dreyfuss is the godfather to one of my children from those days.
Oh, goodness.
And many of those friends. Joe Alves is my friend to this date, and from Jaws 2, Jeannot Swark is my dear friend. In fact, when I got married at Jeannot's house.
Huh.
And a lot of the kids in Jaws 2 have been friends of mine forever, and it was just, what a seminal moment in life.
So it's something that has really enriched your life just beyond the film.
Oh, I think so. In a way, I changed my life and I didn't act anymore, and I now produce, and it's such a different world. But the one thing that everybody loves to go, you were in Jaws. Of course, I tell people I had hair then, or I tell some people, young actors, I say, I studied for years to throw up like that.
So
true.
As you were shooting it, did you have any sense of how popular this film would be? I mean,
no, nobody did. There were rumors throughout the shoot that the plug was going to get pulled. They were over budget. The shark wasn't working. I mean, it was stunning. And only when I actually went to the theater and heard the screams myself did I really realize how terrific it was.
Yeah. And,
there were such people. What a crew. I mean, some of those crew members have been friends forever since. We were months on the set together. And I loved Verna Fields, who I thought was such a... they called her the mother cutter because she mothered all of us. And she was just a great soul. Shari Rhodes, who cast a lot of us, was just terrific.
Yeah.
And it was, how life has this great kind of sometimes confluence of events that create this kind of perfect creative storm, in a sense.
Yeah.
And, Stephen had a vision, and he also was smart enough to have a great team around him.
Yeah, I'm curious how he worked with his actors in your eyes. How did he direct?
Well, it was so long ago But he would guide you, and he really let you do what you do. I mean, he was not somebody who was... We moved on. It was the first day of principal photography. I mean, I was nervous enough that I could have thrown up by myself. You know, it was kind of scary.
Oh, yeah.
But to be on Martha's Vineyard, which is kind of blessed in itself, you know, there's something about islands that are really special. Shakespeare said that of all the earth's surfaces, the islands are the aristocrats.
Yeah.
And it was just a magical summer.
Do you have a favorite moment from either the shooting of, well, it's probably two separate questions, from the shooting of it and from the actual movie itself?
Well, you know, I tell you, I loved Murray Hamilton, and a lot of my favorite memories are with Murray.
Mm.
You know, one night he's coming home, and he's had a couple drinks, and, boy, here, kitty, and he gets skunked. Had to bathe him in tomato juice.
That's terrific.
And they were terrific, you know, finding that little moment where Scheider, you know, throws the glass at the rocks, the stones at the glass, and I'm outside, and I just wave to him as if I, you know, I had no idea what's really going on. That was kind of fun.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time you saw it with an audience? Did you see it early in its run with an audience?
Yeah, I did. It was very exciting. I was living in New York then. And in fact, you know, Jaws has been seminal in my life in the sense that it brought me out to California.
Right.
And ended up with a career that had nothing, you know, was not an actor anymore. You know, since went on, I don't know if you know, I developed the X-Files, and I ran development then, and I did Alley in The Practice. I was David's producing partner. It was fun. God, it's been a lot of different twists and turns that you can't see coming sometimes.
Yeah, I bet. But you mentioned this. You know, you have an impressive resume as an actor, and you're a highly accomplished producer. And what meaning does being part of this iconic film carry for you? Well, you know, we all live in a world where we're as good as our last credit in many ways, you know, or if you're a businessman, it's your last deal or your stock price or whatever. And to have been part, and for me, it was just, I was lucky and blessed to be in this. And, you know, my role wasn't enormous, but just to be part of something that is so iconic, the first blockbuster, is just very special. And, you know, generations, a whole generation of filmmakers go, whoa, you were in Jaws? I know who you were. I mean, it takes a moment when I explain I'm Scheider's sidekick and I threw up on the beach and go, oh, yeah. Oh, dear. You're right.
Not many people introduce themselves, say, hey, you know, I threw up on the beach.
That's the guy that threw up, yeah.
Yeah, really.
But it was an incredibly influential film. You mentioned the first blockbuster, and it changed the way films are marketed.
Oh, you bet. And you know what? Had we known what it was going to be, it would have changed everything probably. You know, somebody asked me after Alley and The Practice had won Best Emmys for comedy and drama in the same year. They said, boy, you make hits. I said, please, if we knew how to make hits, we'd keep making them.
Right.
Who knows? It's that, you know, it's the magic time, and there's so much which you can't even influence, so who knows?
Have you been, obviously his career's been going on for many, many years since Jaws, but I've
run into him occasionally. He's been, he's always so wonderful and warm and kind, and one year we won the Producers Guild of America Awards for The Practice, I think it was. And I accepted the award, and Stephen gave it to us, and it was just special for me to get it from Stephen. I mean, Stephen handed out the awards that night, and it was just really nice. And whenever I've run into him, even in a restaurant, he's just a lovely, respectful, talented soul. You know, having worked with so many talents, not everyone has their feet on the ground, still kind of looks people in the eye and is decent and human in their response to others.
It is refreshing, isn't it?
You know, we live in a world where people start to believe their own publicity, and that's certainly not Stephen.
Yeah, and if anyone could, it would be him, and yet.
Well, I say to people, well, so they say, oh, you work with Steven Spielberg. I said, yeah, but he was still Steven then. Because, I mean, his success has been, there aren't many human beings in history who have had that kind of success.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever field they do.
And has that surprised you at all?
No, because I tell you something, I don't think you need talent to achieve success. I think you need talent to really sustain success.
Mm.
And because we live in a world where accidents happen, you know, and certain shows kind of break out and they're not terribly well written or whatever. And I just think he just ended up doing this, being so successful because he has that vision and can articulate it on film. And, I mean, he's the best storyteller I know.
Mr. Kramer, I just want to tell you that I enjoy your work very much, and I appreciate all the years of it.
Oh, you're very kind.